Tune in to At Home with Christ Ministry with Julie Thomas, broadcasting Monday nights at 8 p.m. live on licmc.net, radio, Facebook, and YouTube.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the At Home with Christ podcast. So today we're continuing our story about the spiritually dead people. And the reason we are talking about this is because people who are spiritually dead do live among us. Now, Ephesians 2, 1 through 2 tells us, and it says this, and you were dead in your transgressions, sins, in which you were formerly walking according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the airways. Now, for those of you who don't know, the prince of the power of airways is in reference to the devil, is in reference to Satan. And if you don't know, a person who is spiritually dead or spiritually deaf is someone who does not respond to spiritual things, much less have a spiritual life. No amount of love, care, or words of affection from God can penetrate them. Now, if you are spiritually dead, a person is spiritually deaf, you will have symptoms like you can't remember certain parts of your early life. You deal with anxiety or depression. You don't feel whole during your spiritual death. You feel numb to the world around you. And the reason I'm saying this is because the story we're about to read and listen to the story, the words in the story, and get a feel for the story. And the title of the story is called The Farmer. So, and the story starts off by telling us there was a farmer who one day was outside farming. And the farmer approached a man with a willing heart to help him on his way. And he asked the man 3 questions. The farmer asked, "Where are you going?" to the man. And the man replied, he didn't know. The next question the farmer asked the man was, "Where are you from?" The farmer replied again, he did not know. So, even before going on, if you don't know where you are going or where you are coming from, you are experiencing some form of spiritual death. And then the last question the farmer asked the man was, what was his name? Unfortunately, the farmer could not remember his name. And so we're saying this. A spiritually deaf person, a person who is spiritually dead, is a person who is detached from God. And these people live among us. Every day, they live and they breathe the same air we breathe, but they are spiritually dead on the inside. And they are subjected to the ways and the means and the dealings of Satan. But we want you to know this because it is important for you and I to know that these people live among us. And that if you separate yourself from God, then you will become spiritually dead. Just like Adam and Eve. They separated themselves from God in the beginning, but they wasn't like dead in life. They were spiritually dead because of this, because of their own separation. And then you have to remember what it says. And you were dead in your trespasses and sins, in which you formerly walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of power. So if you are spiritually dead and you are walking the course of this world, you are walking to the ways of the prince of the airways, of Satan. Separation from God causes sin. Your sins have separated you from God. And this is Isaiah 59:2. The spiritual death is alternatively regarded as the death of the soul. The soul that sins shall die. And so you got to pay attention, people, to what's going on in your life. You got to pay attention, because if you don't walk with God and you separate yourself from God, then you're going to become spiritually deaf. Your soul will die. And we don't want that to happen. We don't want anyone to separate themselves from God and become spiritually deaf. And the reason we're saying this is because we know that Satan is our enemy, and we've said it before, that we don't need, or we don't want him to be seated at our table. We don't want to break bread with our enemy. So you have to be aware of what is causing you to act the way you act, and who and the type of people that are in your lives. So many of us out there, yes, we get confused. But you got to remember that Satan can take our own inclinations, our own personal natures or tendencies, and use them against us. He can try to trick us in any way he can. And so we got to be on guard. Because you don't want to feel numb to the world around you. You don't want to have trouble sleeping at night. Feel stuck in the same place. And it's because, like we're saying, these are all symptoms of someone who is spiritually dead. You don't want to be like the man in the story of the farmer, where you're just walking and walking and walking. Do you? No, you don't. So you got to pay attention to your surroundings. If you see someone walking and they seem like they need help, well, reach out and try to help them. And then get them to Jesus Christ. Invite them into a relationship with Jesus Christ. And until next time, we will continue our discussion. Thank you.
Be sure to tune in to At Home with Christ Ministry with Julie Thomas, broadcasting Monday nights at 8 p.m. live on licmc.net, radio, Facebook, and YouTube.
Hello, I am Julie Thomas, and the name of my podcast is It's a Well-Water Christian podcast for my social media podcast show, which is At Home with Christ. And now I want to tell you about my latest TV show, which is going to be At Home with Christ TV. And you can reach that and you can see all the episodes on Shrimp TV. On shrimp.com. So that you can go to this new platform, which is shrimp.com, and look for At Home with Christ TV under London. It is a fantastic show, and we hope that you will enjoy it.
Be sure to tune in to At Home with Christ Ministries with Julie Thomas, broadcasting Monday nights at 8 p.m. live on licmc.net, radio, Facebook, and YouTube.